Excited to be sitting down with one of my favorite guys that played for the Dallas Cowboys. You sort of are the heartbeat of the Dallas Cowboys organization even now. You're here at the workout at the Sports Performance Center at Frisco, and there are literally fans outside. There's some young guys just waiting for you to sign swag. People walking by, all these young college guys. You need no introduction. I got Dez Bryant here with me, as well as your wide receivers coach, D-Rob, holding it down in the lab. Of course, you had Corey Coleman up here as well, Lil Jordan Humphrey, but we want to focus on you, Dez. For a lot of people that have been following your videos, there's been mixed emotions. Some people say, looking a little slow still. Maybe your time has passed. What's your message to them?
My message is this right here. Like, first and foremost, I've never been a speed guy, so I just blocked that out. I've been running routes. My routes has improved tremendously thanks to this guy over here, especially getting in and out of my breaks. I used to rely on pure ability, which I still have. I really blocked that out. I know I could play this game. I'm really not worrying about nobody who never played this game. And, for the people who's still in this game, seeing my workouts, giving me their feedback, that's the only thing that matters to me. When I got guys like Earl Thomas coming on my stuff, getting messages from Patrick Peterson, those are elite DB guys. That's the only thing that matters to me. So, I'm gonna continue to keep grinding. I got my head down. I'm not expecting anything. I'm just gonna work and see where it takes me.
Dez, I was there for you 4 hours after you got cut from the Cowboys.
Right.
That was an emotional day. And then I was there when you got signed with the New Orleans Saints. 2 days later, you turn up on a route, the Achilles injured. Awful. Because as you and I joked, I felt like I was dropping you off at school and you'd found new classmates and you were like ready to rock. How are you different now than you were back then mentally?
Well, mentally, I felt like I had a lot of mixed emotions. I had just been recently cut from the Cowboys. I wasn't really trying to play football that year, but I'm gonna save that for another time. I just wasn't where I needed to be mentally. And I appreciate Coach Payton for bringing me in and believing in me. And I appreciate those guys, that was there because they brought me in. They showed me crazy love, something that I'll never forget. The best 48 hours of my life is up there. I never forget that, and having that in the back of my head, that's another reason why I wanted to continue to keep grinding. But I wanted to take my time, so I can focus, really get my mind right, really understand where I'm at in life. And just get my priorities in check. And I feel like I've done that, and I'm doing it now. And, like I said, I'm just grinding, and I'm looking to play ball this year.
Dez, I know you've said on social media and stuff that you didn't want the Dez from 2 years ago.
Right.
But, like, regardless of what teams think, you didn't want that Dez.
Right.
Do you think that teams will want this Dez?
Of course. It'd be crazy if they didn't. Like I said, I want to play football. These past couple of years, I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to play football. Not because I didn't love it. It was just more so of me having a healthy brain, healthy around me, making sure I got all the love that I need around me. And, I need to sit back and watch the game. I need to sit back and, look at the guys. I just need to see the game and, just watch it from the outside. And I did. The love came back. I had this guy, D-Rob, staying on me constantly about, come on, man, you still got it. You still got it, and, just hearing it from guys who believe in me, like, what, hell with it. I'm with it. Let's go. And that attitude came back and that fire and desire. So, I'm here. I'm looking to see what I can do.
So, Rob, you think Dez still got it?
Oh, definitely. I train a lot of elite receivers who are 8+ years in the NFL, and he moves just as well as those guys right now, especially coming off of his Achilles injury. When you saw him moving for a while back on the videos, of course, he wasn't that far removed from his surgery and things like that, so of course he was going to be running with a little limp. But right now that he's back healthy, he's doing everything that he needs to do off the field, the rehab, the maintenance, the therapy on his body to keep him moving efficiently. So he looks 10 times better.
No.
Dez, I don't want this to be a PR stunt. I've always kept it real with you, right?
Right.
So I'm not going to coddle you and ask you some of these questions.
Uh-huh.
One of the knocks I think has been some of the social media stuff, right?
Right.
Right after, we had our sit down, you talked about the Garrett guys.
Yep.
Then we're there at training camp, and you name checked some of them. Do you regret that? Because I felt like there were some people within the Cowboys community, but also teammates,
Right.
that you soured with them because of all of that.
Well, I'll say this. I think it was it was an emotional time, and for guys who know me, and a lot of those guys, who know me inside that locker room, I am an emotional guy. But it's all for love. I really don't mean no harm, by it. I just like to speak my piece and, from my honest view. There's no bad blood with none of those guys. I still love those guys, wish those guys the best. Like I said, I root for those guys these past 2 years. You know who I'm rooting for. Sean Lee, he knows that. And any other guy that, I ain't really have problems with with anybody on the team, really. At least I didn't know, but I feel like it's good. I still take these guys from here and there. Dak, I talked to Zeke from here and there. Talked to Amari some. Didn't play with Amari, but me and Amari text. We play Madden together. I talk to Gallup whenever he's out and about, and if I see him around, it's always good times and good vibes. I don't think that's never gonna change. My heart is here, regardless wherever I go and play. It's all love. I don't have no problem with anybody.
That's an important distinction. Do you think that you hurt yourself at all when you were released from the Cowboys by putting it out there that you were still hung up on the Cowboys, that there were only certain teams that you want to play for? Do you have any regrets turning down the Ravens, the Browns?
Well, I would say this. I don't want to necessarily say I turned down Baltimore or Cleveland. It was a good reason why I didn't want to play ball. Like I said, I wasn't mentally there. And Coach Payton, he was on me he was really coming at me more than those other teams. So I'm like, man, hell with it. He giving me that opportunity to get myself together. He wasn't just gonna throw me into the fire. He kept it real with me. So I think it was a no-brainer, for me just to even attempt to try it. So that's what I did. So I don't want to say I turned down the Ravens. I would have took that deal in no time if my brain was there. I would have went with Cleveland in no time if my brain was there, but it wasn't. So, I didn't want to disrespect the game, and I didn't want to disrespect myself. That's just who I am. That's just who I am as a person.
What have you done to get your mind right?
Be around my family. Be around the people who love me. Focus on my projects, things that I'm working on, focusing on the things that I can control, just reflecting back on a whole bunch of stuff. Like I said, I honestly felt like by me being away from the game, it helped me in a sense, I took everything in. I feel like I'm where I need to be. I think things happen for a reason, and I'm going to go with that.
Dez, when you talk about this comeback and the work you've been putting in with D-Rob, and everybody wants to see that because, like you said, you were somebody who's getting by so much on your athleticism, and maybe they see you putting in the work now and they go, yeah, but Dez, you're 31, you're coming off an Achilles. We'd still like to see that athletic ability. I know you've started working with Bobby Stroop over at APEC, who's been really instrumental in the way Patrick Mahomes has come along. I guess talk a little bit about what you're hoping to accomplish with that work with APEC and how those workouts have been going.
I'd say this, Bobby is tremendous. I think he's exactly what I need, just like D-Rob. Bobby he's one of those, it reminds me of college and back when I was in high school. I can hear Coach Glass' voice. I can hear Bobby's voice. Bobby in tune to what he do. Like, he's gonna bring the best out of you. He's gonna make you feel like doing it when you don't want to do it. You need those type of guys around you, and that's Bobby. He care about his guys, and he tell his guys the truth, and that's what I like. The truth puts you on your heels at all times, and I think that's what I'm used to, and that's why it's so easy for me to, gravitate to Bobby. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing Bobby tomorrow and getting some work in with him.
Now, Rob, I know you said Dez has still got it, and he's still got that ability. But when you're out here and you're working, like, you guys are talking all the time, and you're taking in things from him, and you guys are figuring out the best way to run these routes and everything. Where do you still think Dez needs to improve on this way back? Where would you isolate somewhere as like, this is something we're still really trying to tighten up?
Well, I would just say just the top end of his routes, just the top end of his curls, comebacks, his arms, and just keeping his foot up under him on his speed cuts and his speed outs. Those are the things that I see he can improve on. But he's gotten tremendously better coming off of the ball, and he's gotten better at bringing his arms with him at the top of his routes. He looks more smooth and fluent. So it's there. It's coming. Right now, we're about like 80% where we need to be.
Right.
So if you have a lot of connections with receivers and coaches around the NFL, and if one of these teams was considering Dez and they said, hey, Rob, we really want to consider talking to Dez or want to look at bringing him in, give us your assessment of where you think he's at right now. Where would you, if you were giving them an honest assessment of where you think Dez is at in the comeback trail, what would you say to them?
Well, I'll tell them, Coach, he's in a lot better shape. He's about 80-90% where he needs to be. He's a great team guy. He'll be a great receiver to have in the room, to show the young guys the ropes, teach them how to be a professional, teach them how to win on certain scenarios in their route running. So I definitely think that he'll be an asset brought in on any team that brings him in, because he adds that experience value along with the passion and the energy and the heart that he has at playing the position. And I think he'll turn that whole receiver room into a war zone, because everybody will be ready to attack and play like how they need to play.
All right, let's talk about some of the other knocks, Des, because I talked to GMs around the league, I talked to coaches. One of the things was being on time, and that's important when you've got young guys in a room. They're trying to build up the next crop of young wide receivers. They look to the veterans. Showing up to the physical therapy treatments was another knock on you.
Right.
And just putting in the work on your body.
Right.
Are those things that you're prepared to do for the next team and that you've now realized the value of?
Of course. Like a lot of those things that you mentioned, I think that's a lot of things that was in the beginning of my career. And right now, it's like, I got to do it, like I got to do it to get back right. Nobody's paying me to do this. I have to do this. I'm getting up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, getting my mind right to go see Bobby. I got to go drive 35 minutes to Fort Worth to go to APEC. I have to do those things. I'm not getting paid for that. So I think that's the easy part. Like I said, I'm just getting myself back into the flow, getting my mind back right, and I'm looking forward to make plays, because I know I still can.
It's funny to me because I know you pretty well at this point now, Des, and a lot of people that sort of shrug off this idea of you coming back, I feel like need to go read that Rolling Stones article that was done on you a while back,
right,
where it talked about your childhood and what you came from. And you and I talked about that when we sat down after you got cut, that you came from the dirt.
Right.
When people look at this comeback as sort of improbable, maybe walk through how improbable your childhood was to even get where you're at, where what I was saying earlier, you still 2 years removed from this league have fans literally lining up outside waiting for you to sign a helmet. Fans still throw up the X. It's iconic in a sense for a kid that came from Lufkin and as you said, really had nothing growing up.
Right. I just, it's the raw, it's the passion. I walk a lot of people's shoes, and I be me, and I think just by being me, they give a lot of people hope. They're like, man, he can do it, I can do it, regardless of whatever the situation is. And that's just one thing that I want to give people. I made mistakes, I'm not perfect, and I don't mind showing that. And I think and it's all about the bounce back. And when people see that, they attach on to it. And like I said, I want to give who I am. I don't want to give anything false. If I fail, I fail. Hey, look, we tried, but that don't mean that it's over. And that's just the attitude that I'm gonna forever have, and it's just gonna remain the same.
Do you feel like you were pretty misunderstood when you're in the league, Des?
I always felt that way. Just reasons for I can't explain why. I can't explain why I was misunderstood, but I know for the guys who know me, for the guys who be around me, they know what type of guy that I am. It's so much stuff that I can say what I'd have done for guys, but that's just not me. I just don't feel comfortable. It's from my heart. Everything is from my heart. It's like I like to see guys, I like to help guys be in a position so they can be their best. And I always been that way, and like I remember my rookie year with the Hayes and stuff. I never been a fan of it.
That was Roy Williams.
Yeah, Roy Williams. But I'll tell you this, he reached out to me too a couple of years back, and he told me he was proud of me. That meant everything to me, and because I guess I'm assuming that, he kind of understood, who I am and, where I come from. But it's just one of those things. When I go through bad experiences, the things I don't like, I'm flipping it. That's my whole goal, is to flip it, to make sure other guys don't go through it. Like when we would bring rookies in when I played for the Cowboys, I don't need you guys to walk on eggshells. I need you guys to come in here and be the best. I need you to have that same mentality that you had when you was that third year, fourth year guy there. Like, yeah, I understand, respect the older guys, respect the coaches, of course, forever do that. But when you step in between those lines, I need that energy. I need that fire. I need to see who you are. I want to know what you're about, and that's always been my attitude. Like, I'm no different from you. I don't care how long I've been here. I'm no different from you. You can teach me something and I can teach you something. That's just always been my attitude, when it came, whenever I'm inside of that locker room. It's just who I am, regardless of the position.
To that end, so many young kids and grown adults throw up the X. I don't think a lot of people realize where that came from.
Right.
So for our listeners that aren't familiar with what the X means, it's actually symbolic of something for you that's important and something
Right.
that we're sort of talking about here in this podcast.
Right. It's really basically is Xing out all of the negative. Just focusing, being laser focused, and knowing that, you shouldn't let other people's opinions weigh on you, because we do. We all have different brains, and God gave us that for a reason, and it's just, that's the meaning that I put behind it. But I did throw up the X because of Dante Hall. I just wanted to put my own meaning behind it. Man, hey, look, I get a lot of crap, but I know who I am as a person. I'm gonna X this out, and I'm gonna stay laser focused. And I'm going to, my biggest goal is to be me, not change who I am, but just continue to keep being me and let people see who I am, for themselves.
Dez, I know you're a big Facebook guy. You like that because you like the ability to interact with people. It's like your little community. I know you've said that before. There was a video back when you were at the Pro Bowl a couple years ago. It was a video stream, and somebody had asked something in the comment section. You said, I'm going to tell you this right now. He said, you guys can tell the whole world, the day I'm done playing for Dallas is the day I'm done playing football.
Right.
And I know you said you were in a bad hedspace after the release from Dallas. Do you still think that's true, or are you still so committed to this has got to be Dallas for the comeback, or are you happy to go elsewhere?
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm going to keep it all the way honest and blunt. I would love to have that opportunity, just because it's not so much of, I just want to play for Dallas. No, I understand. I see what they have. I see the talent that they have. They have Amari Cooper, they have Michael Gallup, they have Cobb, they have Dak, they have Zeke, they have Pollard, they have a loaded offense, they have Jarwin. And I'm like, man, I ain't really never been able to play with that much talent. Like, throughout my whole career, if you see it, I used to get double. I used to get an extra guy over the top. And I can only think of, man, not to be selfish, but I know if I got placed in a position like that, I would do some damage. And I know it would help open up a whole bunch of things with, creating different, certain type of packages. That's a dream, That's a dream. Will it happen? I don't know. We don't know. But where I'm at right now, my daughter asked me, Daddy, you gonna play football again? That's what really clicked. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna play ball. So, if it's not for Dallas, Cowboy fans, hey, I want to play ball. So I'm gonna see where I'm gonna see who opened the doors for me. And I'm just trying to, come in and do whatever they tell me to do, be the best version that I can, help in any type of way. If that's me, giving water to the quarterbacks, to the running backs, telling the other receivers, certain things, I don't mind. I miss the game.
That's how hungry you are.
Yeah.
You've talked about, and we've heard reports that you've reached out to Stephen Jones.
Yep.
First, I want to know how that conversation went.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, if Stephen said, because we know he can be a shrewd businessman.
Yeah.
All right, Dez, I'm going to bring you in here for about as cheap as I can go.
Yeah.
Does Dez Bryant do that?
I know it.
Agent's
I know.
gonna hate me.
Look. I know it wouldn't be what I would want, but I think it would be worth it. I think it'll be worth it because I think those guys have a real shot at going to the Super Bowl. I truly believe that. Like, I'm not just saying that, how everybody say Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. No, they really have a legit chance to do that. And it's just, that's what I see. I know the game of football. Like, I know the vibe. I know the vibes, and I feel like I can help increase that vibe, so.
So you texted Steven how'd it go?
It went better than I thought.
You weren't blocked?
No, I wasn't blocked, so that's a good thing. I texted him and I spoke my mind. I just basically just told him, where I'm at in my life, how I'm feeling, I had time to reflect and all that stuff. Me knowing Mr. Jones, Stephen Jones, he'd have been like, hey, Dez, I hope the best, but we'll be going in a different direction. He didn't say those words to me, so that made me feel.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Right. Right. So, I took that and I ran with it. So, it's like that also, increased the workout. Like, hey, we gonna get it, D. Like, let's get it. They gotta see this. Like, it's that attitude. But like I said, but for the most part, man, the conversation went very well. It wasn't long, but it wasn't like him. That's not the Steven that I.
I keep stepping on Bobby's toes, but I've got so much to ask you.
Yeah.
I'll let Bobby weigh in here after this question.
No.
Garrett and the regime are gone. You've got a new regime of Mike McCarthy and his staff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a change would be good for you? And do you think that you need more of a disciplinarian type coach to keep you in line and get you at practice on time, find you when you're not at physical therapy? Do you need some boundaries?
I honestly think the practice on time thing, I honestly don't know where that came from really. But we'll save that for another time. But yeah, of course. Like, for the most part, when people say that, me speaking negative on Coach Garrett, it's really not that. It's just I feel that I know the game of football. I know the vibe that you're supposed to have when you're supposed to be playing this game, when you playing this game. And, I'll leave it at that, about Coach Garrett, because I really don't want to speak much on him, because I don't want to feel like I'm speaking negative on him.
You guys cleared things up, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's just, just the new look. Just me knowing Coach McCarthy, over the years, watching him, how he's done things with Aaron Rodgers, and, how he loves to, how he liked to run his offense. Kind of similar, it's different, but kind of similar to the Andy Reid type. He's like, he liked the wideouts out there. So I just feel like he can create something for me,
And he did say Dez caught it.
Yeah, he did say that. So
He finally acknowledged that.
right. So that instantly made him a real one in my eyes. So So
well,
yeah.
you were one of the last. I mean, there was the negotiation with DeMarcus Lawrence, but you were one of the last real franchise tag standoff guys that the Cowboys had. And there's, I think, some concern or some uneasiness in Cowboys Nation right now about they're going to franchise Dak, and they're going to be too far apart. This is going to get contentious. Everybody always likes to hear from you in general, your thoughts on things with the Cowboys. So what do you think about the idea of getting Dak locked up long term?
My opinion, just my opinion. Yeah, you have to lock Dak up. Dak, he got these things that you can't teach. And a lot of people don't have it. He's real great with the guys in the locker room. Like, that stuff is contagious, and a lot of guys don't have that. I'm just going to be honest. He's a great football player, excellent football player. I watched Dak improve each and every year, and, I remember before he came in, Will McClay can tell you this himself. I still had text messages. First thing I texted him was when we had drafted Dak at the time, he a winner. Because when I watched him at Mississippi State, who the hell heard of Mississippi State? And
disrespect for Mike Leach and that SEC program for next year.
It was like, and I was like, damn, this guy real good. I had watched him play against LSU, and I was like, man, hey, he the real deal. I didn't even think that, that was even a thought of drafting him. That was the crazy part about it. And when he had came, I was like, yeah, I could just tell. You could just tell his chest high, his head high. You know, he's not trying to be something that he's not. You know, that's who he is as a person. And I think that's what I loved about him. And when you like that, God's gonna naturally follow him. I'm a lot older than him, but I'm like, yeah, I can follow behind that guy.
Well, and see, that's interesting because you were there for, of course, a lot of your career. There were injury issues with Tony Romo, so there were always backup quarterbacks stepping in and having to do things. You know, Kyle Orton and Brandon Weeden, Matt Castle, you play with all those guys. And not to try and put them down at all, that's not the comparison. But how was it different that year? When Dak stepped in, why was the energy different that year as compared to other guys when they tried to step in, other than just the talent?
Well, I think because of, I think Dak and Zeke had that natural raw connection already. I think that played a part too. You know, and it was a lot of new guys. And, you know, and they knew Dak, you know, so, and I think that had a lot to do with it too. So, you know, and then at the time, that's what worked. And you had to stay with it. You know, nothing towards Romo, because Romo, he was excellent in his way, and Dak is excellent in his way. Either way would have worked. So, you know, and you couldn't go wrong.
Now, and I am just curious because this is the raging debate on social media right now.
Yeah.
So Kevin Sherrington from the Dallas Morning News had polled Brad Sham, Babe Laufenberg, and Gil Brandt and said, give me your top 5 Cowboys quarterbacks of all time. All of them, I believe, put Dak ahead of Tony. And so now it's become this kind of raging debate of, you know, whose legacy is becoming stronger. Obviously, a lot of it's projection with Dak because he's so early.
Yeah.
So if somebody was going to say, Des, we need you to weigh in here on greatest
get
quarterback.
just a
I'm not.
Yeah, I
He
know.
can answer. I want to.
But I'm gonna give you my honest opinions, and I'm gonna go year for year.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you really can't compare it because Dak ain't played as long as Tony. But if you go year for year, yeah, you would have to say Dak. Look what Dak has done. Shit, my bad, but
No, you're good.
two out of 3 years, he's been to the playoffs. You know, and you just got to give that to him. You know, and look at his win-lose ratio. You know, he's won way more games than he done lost. So.
You don't have to tell me. I'm the president
I'm
of the
just-
Dak Prescott
He really
fan
is the
club.
president
I
of the
am.
Prescott
I am.
fan club.
I lead
Unofficial
the
president.
charge there.
All right, I've got to ask you this then, since Bobby touched on it. You got yourself in a sort of contentious contract negotiations with the Jones family, and I can't imagine that they're the easiest to go against because you've got the public sentiment. It is the Cowboys. We're talking about it ad nauseum. People are now saying Dak Prescott is greedy. Why not worry about your teammates? You got to get, you know, Amari paid, Byron Jones. You know, you've got all these free agents. Describe what it was like going through your contract negotiation and how you shut out everybody. Granted, you had Rock Nation negotiating.
How did I shut it out? Did I shut it out? That's the question. You know, it was tough. You know, it was real tough because, you know, I spent all these years with the Cowboys and I'm like, man, you know, what's the hold up? I'm like, they know what I'm about, you know, and hearing all these things that, you know, I didn't hear before, it kind of bothered me a little bit. And now I'm not realizing, oh, this is the business, you know, and, you know, my message to Dak is, you know, like, just block out all the other stuff. It's going to get done. It's going to get done, and don't worry, you are the guy, you know. You got to know that first and foremost. He is the guy, you know. I wouldn't replace him. I'm just being honest. who are you gonna replace him with? You know, it's one of those things that you don't want to mess up. He got the potential to bring you several Super Bowls just because he's that type of guy. And, you know, like I said, you know, I pray that, you know, Mr. Jones, the whole entire Jones family understand that, know that hey, that's what you want. That's what you want leading your franchise. It's not every day you're going to pull up on a Dak Prescott. It's just not every day. You know, first round, second round, that stuff don't mean nothing. Don't get caught up in that. He got something that can't be coached. And, you know, I'm not just shooting smoke.
And look at DeMarcus Lawrence and Zeke, how contentious those things got, and they both got paid.
Yeah.
You got paid.
Yeah.
People are going to get paid.
In the end, it'll get done.
Right.
Now I know we've sat here and you've talked a lot and made.
Just basically like just repetition and paying attention to the small things that I wouldn't even think about. Like he's a big reason of the fire that I got. He's a big reason he brought my confidence back. And we joke around and, the last time we left out of here, I say, look, when I win this comeback player of the year, hey, D, you're going to be right there. I told you that, right? And I mean that because I just feel, I feel like, I would have been let it go if it wasn't for him. That's how I'm just going to shoot it straight. I'm excited. Hey, he'll tell you, I hit him up, D, hey, what time we going? It used to be the other way around.
Be the other way around. You're right.
It's like, I'm excited. I'm excited to listen to him. Like he know exactly what he's talking about. Like I said, he's a route guru. So, he's everything. Whenever I get on the team, first game, he has to be there.
Yeah.
It's that type of feel, it's that type of vibe. He make me want it. He a big reason for me being this way.
And it's thinking back to something I know earlier you were talking about teammates and the locker room chemistry, and you were seeming kind of romanticizing it a little bit. We all saw that viral clip from the All or Nothing where you and Jordan Lewis kind of went head to head. And it was a little contentious, but I know you guys looked back fondly on it. Is that what you miss most about the game? Juice.
That's what I miss. But that's not the first time me and Jordan went at it.
I can imagine. We've all heard Jordan talk.
But when Jordan was a rookie, and Coach Garrett was sitting there, so a lot of coaches were sitting there, and I remember I had beat him on a slot fade, and we was getting ready to run another play. I forgot who. I want to say it was Byron who stepped in front of me. Jordan moved Byron out of the way, and he was like, "Nah, I want him." I instantly fell in love with Jordan. I did. I instantly fell in love with him because I was like, "That's what we need. This is what we missing on the defensive side of the ball." And I used to always step on the table for him. Jordan needs to play. I don't know why Jordan not playing. Like, the practice stuff, that don't bother me. Yeah, we're going to get into it in practice. We're going to fight in practice. But I know when game time comes Sunday, hey, let's get this shit. Hey, yeah, it's that type of attitude. Right, you go to war, bring you closer. It was those things. Like, still to this day, I'll talk to Jordan from here and there. I forgot this little facility that I was going to right around the corner from here. Some of the guys go there, and I was talking to Jordan, just let him know how proud I am. When they played the Chicago Bears and that interception that he had got on the sideline, I was like, they should have been playing him. I'm literally sitting on my couch and I'm like, they should have been playing him, because this is the type of guy that he is. And this scoop and score against the Giants, he just had that knack for the ball. The interception against the Saints, to seal the game up. I just gravitate to those kind of players. I can recall, and there's only a few players that I do that with. Jordan, he's a ball player. I love ball players, He's a dog for the game.
I got to tell you, it's hard listening to you talk about your passion for the game because I sat down with Tony Romo at Super Bowl, and he's just as passionate. And I think about DeMarco Murray when I talk to him, to not see you guys, Jason Witten, throw him in there, to not be able to get something done. How hard is it for you to do these workouts a block away from the star, to be this close to Jerry and Steven and not go knock on their office, to not go to the stadium and go to these games? Mike McCarthy said it, I thought, very interestingly when he took away from football, and he said, I needed football. We needed football, talking about his family. Does that resonate with you?
Of course. Exactly right now at this point. At one point in time, like I said, you just need that time to sit back and reflect. You don't know what you miss until it's gone. You know what I'm saying? And me being 31, people want to be like, oh, that's old, man. There's guys still doing it in the league, 32, 33, 34 playing wide receiver. And, I'm like, man, I'm not that, I'm I'm right there. You know, I'm still in between a little bit. You know, like if I was 33 or something, I was like,
Look at Adrian Peterson playing one of the toughest positions
He 30,
in the league.
he 35.
Right.
Yeah.
Or look at Richard Sherman coming back having an All-Pro year in his 30s off an Achilles.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so it's and I'll tell you this, just one thing that I learned to focus on too. You know, like, you know how it is with negative stuff. That's gonna get the most highlight. That's gonna get the most shine, the most bright. You know, but what I've learned to do is just, man, I'm gonna stay focused on this positive. Like, do you really see, like, it's like God talking to me. Look at all of these thousands of positive comments, and you're just gonna point out that one negative and let that make you feel some type of way. No, we're gonna scratch that. These people believe in me, so you know what? I'm gonna believe in me just as much as they believe in me, and I'm gonna keep on rocking. So that's the attitude. So.
I love that, Dez. Dez, thank you so much for sitting down with us. I know
Yeah.
it's been a while. I always feel like when we can sit down, sometimes I feel like people can sort of see that side of you that doesn't always get projected. You know, social media isn't always our friend.
Right.
But I think the people that do know you, to your point earlier, they know what you're about. Having been your friend and covered you, I've seen a change in you. So I want this for you. I hope this works out for you.
I appreciate
and
it.
we'll keep following your workouts, and I know your fans are anxious to see where you end up.
I appreciate it.
D-Rob,
Thank you, Jane.
you the man. We always appreciate you allowing us into your workouts, and you keep cranking out some of these boys in the league, okay?
Okay.
Man, he deserves an NFL job too, by the way. Well, I'm kind of selfish because, you know, if he do that, then it's gonna be tough for your boy.
You ain't got access
No,
to
because
me.
then that'll get you on that'll for sure get you on the roster because then Rob's calling the shots.
Right.